Well, let's bring in Jamal Benomar. He's a former special advisor to the UN Secretary General. He joins us now from New York. Jamal, you yourself have dealt with many difficult negotiations in your career. This is clearly a situation where tension is rising. There's no obvious path to resolution. As we heard there, Macron is doubling down. How do you get past a stalemate when one party simply won't recognize the other?
It's a complex situation. There are three headlines that I see here. One is the demise of French influence in most of Africa. This has accelerated dramatically in the last couple of years. And even Niger, that was the experiment of French military cooperation in the Sahel, hasn't worked, and we are now in this crisis. But the second headline that I see also is the demise of democracy in Africa. There has been one coup after another. Democracy is not really taking root in Africa. And now many of the Sahel countries, one after the other, have experienced this series of coups, and the prospects here for civilian democratic rule, prospects are not clear really. But the other issue that I see here is the international community that is divided and not knowing how to handle this situation. ECOWAS, the sub-regional organization that is taking the lead, is divided. There are those who are for the Nigerian-led idea of intervention. There are others who are against. Even the French and the Americans, they have different approaches to the situation in Niger and the Sahel. So it's an international community that is a bit in disarray, not knowing how to handle, this turn of events.
Jamal, when we talk about this French ambassador, who now I believe is stuck in his embassy in Niamey, and food, electricity, water, I believe, have now been cut off. I'm curious because a lot of this is enshrined in international law, in the Vienna Convention, right? What rights does the ambassador and his diplomatic mission now have?
Well, look, the Vienna Convention, the main principle here is consent, and consent among sovereign states. So the issue is not legal here. The issue is a political situation that's been mishandled by the French, quite frankly. I don't see that by getting the ambassador to hang on in his base, the crisis will disappear. I mean, just to make things worse. What is needed really is a concerted diplomatic effort by the people of the region, to see how a peaceful way out can be contemplated here. The confrontation between the French and the Nigerian military, I don't think, will lead to any positive outcome.
Jamal, given that the junta that's in power is officially part of the armed forces of the country, is there any kind of legal obligation for them to actually protect both the French ambassador and the embassy, though?
Absolutely. They have a legal obligation as de facto authorities to protect all diplomatic missions in the country. But there is a dispute between the two countries. There is a history there. The reality here is that throughout the Sahel, there are popular anti-French sentiment, that the junta are now making use of. So what is needed really is a diplomatic initiative, from within the region to see how a compromise can be found sooner or later. Some initiative hopefully will succeed in trying to unlock this impasse.
Indeed, one hopes that. Jamal Benomar, a former special advisor to the UN Secretary General, speaking to us from New York. Thanks so much for joining us here on Al Jazeera.
Thank you.